Hello everyone, welcome back to Pabbly. In this video, we are going to learn how to automate incident reports with Pabbly Connect. So my objective is that whenever a new issue will be raised in GitHub in my organization, I want to record that same issue and all the details in my Google Sheets. And then finally, I want to update my backend team about that same issue on Google Chat. So how we are going to automate this entire process? For this, we will have to set up a connection between all these applications, and that we are going to do without any coding or programming skills with the help of Pabbly Connect, which is an amazing automation and integration software. So Pabbly Connect works on two principles, trigger and action. So in trigger, we are going to take GitHub first of all, and in action, we are going to take Google Sheets and Google Chat. And we will simply connect all of them with the help of Pabbly Connect to automate this entire process. And to learn this entire automation step by step, let me take you all to my screen. In this video, we are going to learn how to automate incident management in the organization with the help of Pabbly Connect. So I am using GitHub in order to manage all the incidents and issues of my organization, and I want that whenever a new issue will be raised over here in GitHub, I want to create a record of that issue along with all the details in my Google Sheets, and then finally I want to update my backend team for that same issue on Google Chat. Okay, so I am going to create an automation for this entire process by setting up an integration between all these applications, but I am going to do that without any coding or programming skills. So basically, we are going to use Pabbly Connect to create this automation, which enable us to create an integration between multiple applications without any coding or programming skills. So this is the home page of Pabbly Connect, where we can reach by tapping this URL pabbly.com/connect in our browser. After coming over here, we can find two options, sign in and sign up for free. So if you are an existing user, you can directly click on sign in very easily. But if you are a new user, you have to click on this sign up for free button to create your free new account. And trust me, it is not going to take more than 2 minutes. But also, when you are going to create your account, you will receive 100 free tasks every month to explore this amazing software and to test multiple automations. Now, because I'm already an existing user, therefore I'm clicking on sign in. So this is the all apps section, where we can find all the products which are offered by Pabbly. To create this automation, we are going to use Pabbly Connect. So let's click on access now. And it has taken us towards the dashboard of Pabbly Connect. So on this dashboard, we can find all our workflows which we have created up till now, and we can also create different folders over here to save our workflows accordingly. Now, to create a new workflow, we have to click on this create workflow option. Let's do that. Here a dialog box will appear in front of us, which is asking us to provide a name to this workflow. So first of all, let us provide a name over here. Automate incident reports with Pabbly Connect. After giving this name here, I'm going to select the folder in which I want to save this workflow. So I've already created a folder with the name as incident management automations. I'm going to select that, and now let's click on create. In this way, you can create your workflows and save them separately by creating different folders as well. Now, as we have done that, we can find that two windows are open in front of us. First is the trigger and the other is action. So what are trigger and actions? Trigger and actions are the two main concepts or the principles on which the entire automation runs. The trigger says when this happens, and the action says do this. That means the action is the response towards our trigger. So whatever we are going to select in our trigger is going to command the entire workflow, and the actions are going to follow that same command. Therefore, we can have only one trigger in any workflow, but we can have multiple actions as we want. Now let's suppose my objective is that whenever a new issue will be raised in GitHub, I want to create a record of that issue along with all the details in my Google Sheets. Therefore, I'm going to take, let's say, GitHub in our trigger and Google Sheets in action. So here we can clearly see that action is following what the trigger commands, because when the trigger happens, that means when the issue is raised in GitHub, then only the data is added in Google Sheets, otherwise not. So after understanding the concept of trigger and action, let's start creating the workflow step by step. So first of all, we have to select our trigger application. Now my objective is that whenever a new issue will be raised on GitHub, then I want to receive the response of that issue in Pabbly Connect, and with that response, the workflow should get triggered immediately. For that, we are going to select GitHub in our trigger application. Okay, so we have done that. Now, after selecting the application, we also have to select the trigger event. So trigger event is the event on the happening of which the workflow is going to trigger or start. So issues will be our trigger event over here. Whenever a new issue will be created, automatically the workflow is going to trigger. Okay. So when we have selected the trigger application and event, let's click on connect to build a connection with GitHub account. And now to build a new connection, I'm going to select add new connection over here. Okay, let's click on connect with GitHub. And now Pabbly Connect is asking us for the permission to access our GitHub account. It is 100% safe. So let's click on authorize Pabbly. And with this, we can see that our authorization has become successful. And now very easily, GitHub is successfully connected with Pabbly Connect. So when we have built a connection, let's move forward. Here we have to select the owner and the repository. Repository is a particular project in which we are going to create the issues. Okay, so I'm going to take you towards my GitHub account, and you can see that this is my repository connect app. So we have already selected that and the owner is also selected. Okay, now when we are going to click on save and send test request button, we can see that it is showing waiting for response. This means that now we have to do a test submission so that the response could be captured over here. How we are going to do that? By creating a test issue. Okay, so here we have received a test response. Once again, we are going to click on recapture webbook response button to receive a new response. And now when we are going to go back towards GitHub and when we are going to create a new issue over here in our repository connect app, automatically the response will be captured over here in Pabbly Connect. Okay, so I'm going to click on this new issue button to raise a new issue. And I'm going to first of all provide a title to my issue. Okay, unable to submit contact form. Let's suppose this is the title of the issue. Okay, now I'm going to provide a description to my issue. When attempting to submit a contact form on the website, users encounter an error message and are unable to complete the submission process. Let's suppose I have created a contact form on my website through which I want to generate lead. Now let's suppose that contact form is not working properly and therefore an issue is raised. Okay, now when I'm going to click on submit new issue button, you can see that the issue is created over here. So let's go and check whether we have received the response of this issue in Pabbly Connect or not. And yes, here we have received the response. In the response, when we will scroll down, we can see that we have received all the details. Among these details, we have also received the body of the issue. When attempting to submit the contact form on website, users encounter an error message. Here we have also received the title as well. Okay, unable to submit contact form. This means that our connection between GitHub and Pabbly Connect is successful. So now whenever a new issue will be raised in the repository which we have selected over here in GitHub, the response will be captured over here with all the details. Now what we want, our objective is to create a record of this issue in Google Sheets. So for that we have to move towards our action step and we have to set up a connection between Google Sheets and Pabbly Connect. Okay, so this is my spreadsheet which contains all the details: issue ID, title of the issue, date, and now here I'm going to enter the description as well. So I want all these details to be recorded whenever a new issue will be raised in GitHub. Okay, for that, first of all, we have to set up a connection between Google Sheets and Pabbly Connect. So our action application here will be Google Sheets. Let's select that. Now we have to select the action event that will be add new row. So whenever a new issue will be created in GitHub, a new row should be added in Google Sheets with the details. Let's click on connect. Now because I've already built a connection with my Google Sheets earlier as well, so I'm going to go with existing connection over here. But if you want to create a new connection, you have to simply click on this add new connection button and then you have to click on sign in with Google. As you will do that, your connection will be successful. Now I'm going to click on save over here. And we can see that Google Sheets is successfully connected with Pabbly Connect. So we will simply move forward. Here we have to enter the details in these fields to create a record. So first of all, we have to select a spreadsheet name. So the name of my spreadsheet is organization incidents. I'm going to select the same over here. And as we have selected the spreadsheet name, the sheet name is also selected because we only have one sheet over here as sheet 1. Okay, now after this we have to enter following details: issue ID, title, date, and the description. So all these details are the same that we have received from the GitHub response. So one by one we will simply add the data over here. And because we have already received all these details in our earlier response, so we will simply map the data over here. Now mapping is inserting data from previous step. Here our previous step is given and here are all the details. First of all, we want to map the issue ID. So I'm going to search for issue ID over here and I will simply map that. So when we have mapped this ID, it has become dynamic. That means with each and every new response, now it is going to be replaced. So whenever a new issue will be raised in GitHub, automatically this issue ID is going to replace from this field and a new ID will come over here. But in case if we will enter the data manually, then it would have become static and then it will not replace with each and every new response. Then we will not be able to automate the entire process of creating a record of GitHub issues in our Google Sheets. Okay, so now when we have mapped the issue ID, let's move forward, and in the similar way we will map the title as well. So I'm going to search for title and it has redirected us towards the issue title. We will select that and it is mapped. Now we will map the date. So here we have received the date on which the issue is created. Let's search for date, but we can see that it is not in the correct format. I only want to record date of the issue in my Google Sheets and not the time. Therefore, we will have to format this date. So what we are going to do, we will simply add one more action step in between, and that will be date time formatter, with the help of which we will simply format the date. So here we are going to select date time formatter in our action application. And now we have to select the action event. So our action event will be format date only because I only want to record the date. Okay, now we are going to click on connect. And as we have done that, it is asking us to enter the date which we want to format. So I want to format the date which we have received from GitHub. So I will simply map the date over here. And now it is asking us from format, that in which format we have received the date in the response. So I have received the date along with time and this is the format. Okay, year, month, date, and this is the time. So I'm going to select this same format. Now it is asking us to format, that in which format we actually want the date. So I want the date in the simple format, that is date, month and year. So I will select that and done. Now when we are going to click on save and send test request button, we have received the response and this is the correct format of the date which I wanted. So now here I'm going to use the same date which we have received from datetime formatter to map the date over here. Done. Now after mapping this date, we will simply map the description as well. So here I'm going to search for the description and this is the description of the issue. So we will simply map that. Okay. Now after mapping all the details, let's click on save and send test request button. So because we have received this response, let's go and check on Google Sheets whether the data is added or not. And yes, the data is automatically added over here. This is the issue ID, title, date and the description. Okay, so this means that our connection between GitHub and Google Sheets is successful. Now our main objective is to update our backend team regarding the issue which is raised. So for that, I'm going to simply set up a connection between my Google Chat and Pabbly Connect. So we will click on this add action step button and we will select our action application as Google Chat now. Google Chat Hangout. Now we have to select the action event that will be create message. That means because we want to send the message every time an issue will be raised. So here we have to select this action event as create message. Let's click on connect. Now in order to build a connection between Google Chat Hangout space and Pabbly Connect, we have to provide two details over here. First of all, chat webbook URL, and then we have to provide the message which we want to send. Now from where we are going to find this chat webbook URL, for that we have to click on this hyperlink, learn more. And it is going to take us towards Pabbly forum page. On this page, when we will scroll down, we will find all the instructions which we have to follow in order to set up a connection between Google Chat and Pabbly Connect and for getting the chat webbook URL. Now, first of all, in the instructions, it is given that we have to open our Google Chat and then we have to go towards the space. When we will click on the manage webbook option on space, we will find the option. We will have to enter the URL which is given over here. So I'm going to simply copy this URL and then I'm going to take you towards my space. Okay, so this is my space. When I'm going to go towards the name of my space, backend team, here we will find the option of apps and integrations. Add a webbook option in order to create a new webbook. Let's click on this add webbook button. And now we have to provide a name to this webbook. So we have to be very careful while entering the name of this webbook because it will be displayed every time whenever a new message will be received on our Google Chat space. So because we are setting up this webbook to send the issues which are raised in GitHub, therefore I'm going to give the name to this webbook as new issue raised. Okay, and now we have to paste the URL which we have copied from Pabbly forum page in this particular field. Let's click on save. As we have done that, we can see that our webbook is automatically added over here. Okay, so this is the chat webbook URL which we have to use basically in Pabbly Connect. So we will simply click on this three dots. We will copy the link and we will move back towards Pabbly Connect and paste it over here. Now we have to enter the message which we want to send every time. So because we are sending this message for the issue which is raised, therefore I'm going to enter the message as hello team. Hello team, this is to inform you that a new issue is raised in GitHub. Here are the details, issue, description, date. One by one, I'm going to map the data over here so that it could change with each and every new response. First of all, I'm going to map the title over here. Okay, then I'm going to map the description and then finally I'm going to map the date. So these are the details. Now I'm going to enter one more thing over here. Please check and resolve the issue as early as possible. So this will be the message each time because we have entered some of the details manually over here in this message. So it will be so those details will be same each time, but the data which we have mapped is become dynamic and it is going to be replaced each time. Okay, so now when we are going to click on save and send test request button, we can see that here we have received the response. So let's go and check whether on our Google Chat space we have received this message or not. And yes, here we can see that we have received the message. The webbook name of this message is new issue raised. This means that our connection is perfectly successful and we have completed our workflow. So let's check this workflow whether it is running fine or not. Here I'm going to add a new issue and as soon as I will do that, we will see that automatically the record of that issue will be created in Google Sheets with all the details in a new row, and at the same time we are going to receive the update related to that issue on Google Chat space as well. Okay, so here I'm going to create a new issue. First of all, cross-site scripting vulnerability in user profile page. So user is getting some kind of issue. Okay, now I'm going to enter the description of the issue as a security vulnerability has been identified in the user profile page of the application, allowing attackers to execute. Okay, so this is the description. Now I'm going to click on submit new issue, and as soon as we have done that, let's go and check whether automatically the record for this issue is created in Google Sheets or not. And yes, we can see that without any manual efforts, the issue is added over here. This is the issue ID, this is the title of the issue, this is the date, and here is the description as well. So let's go and check whether we have received a message for this issue on our Google Chat space or not. And yes, we have once again received a message. Here is the issue which is already changed. This is the description, date, and all the details. This means that our connection and our workflow is running perfectly fine. So let's summarize quickly what we have done here in the workflow. So we have taken very simple steps: trigger and action. In trigger, we have taken GitHub, and in action, we have taken date time formatter, Google Sheets, and Google Chat Hangout. And we have simply set up a connection between all these applications without any coding or programming skills in such a way that now whenever a new issue will be raised in GitHub, automatically the record of that issue will be created in Google Sheets, and instantly the team is going to be updated regarding that issue which is raised on Google Chat space. In the same manner, by following the same steps, you can very easily create this automation to automate the entire process of incident reports with Pabbly Connect. Here in the place of GitHub, you can also take any other application of issue management such as Jira, and in place of Google Chat Hangout as well, you can take any other application such as Discord, Slack, or any other community application. Okay, so this was it in this video. I hope this was helpful for you. Thank you for watching. Not only these applications, but you can integrate multiple such applications without any coding or programming skills with the help of Pabbly Connect. Now, if you have any doubt, you can reach out to us at support@pabbly.com. If you want to ask any query, you can reach out to us at forum.pabbly.com. And if you have any pricing related issue, you can reach out to the website given over here. Now, if you find this video helpful, do not forget to share it with your friends. And also please like our video and subscribe our channel for more such amazing automations.